In our next story, I got to ask you guys, obviously, question number one, do you believe anything that comes out the Pentagon, the government, anything like this? Next question is why does the Pentagon do what they do? Why can't we get simple questions to an answer? Simple answers to a question we're all entitled to. And I think we all agree that there is no human on this earth that should be able to withhold this type of information from us. But they do it continuously. Now, what am I talking about? We'll get to that right now. UFO sightings, this is more from the Pentagon's released material. They began, people are going through this. They've been going through this. I report on it often. UFO sightings have left witnesses with radiation burns, brain damage, and perceived time suspension, according to interviews in newly released Pentagon report from 2010. It is 2022. Why in the fuck didn't we know this then? The psychological effects were compiled in a 2010 report that was just now released. They include serious ailments like burns, paralysis, pain, rashes, and amnesia. Other effects include heat, sexual encounters, and claimed ESP development. The report is part of a trove of documents released by the Pentagon, now defunct Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, which studied UFOs, of course. Just like Project Blue Book, they claim that they've shut these programs down, but they've continued. They had to admit later that they've always had a department studying UFOs and extraterrestrials. They can't be straight up and honest with us. The existence of the program was revealed by its former leader back in 2017 because they lied about it. They said they were no longer studying or researching UFOs. U.S. intelligence officials have evidence that UFO sightings have led to adverse health effects, kind of like, The study classifies different types of encounters with unidentified objects, including ones accompanied by sightings of ghosts, yetis, or spirits, and others resulting in injury, death, or permanent healing. How come we have never had access to any of these reports? In fact, when we speak on these types of situations, they say we just made them up. They call us conspiracy theorists and nut jobs. Oh, you guys just made up the Yeti. You guys just made up, UFOs. It also includes a summary of the UFO-induced effects that was compiled by a private nonprofit in 1996, ranging from the most common one, abduction, to paralysis, eye injuries, electrical shocks, and even sexual encounters. The 2010 report compiled 42 cases of adverse effects from medical files, and 300 from unpublished cases. So there's actually medical files. The document is part of 1,500 pages from the now defunct Aviation Threat Identification. We've talked about that were released to the Sun by Defense Intelligence Agency. Sufficient accidents have been accurately reported, and medical data has been acquired as to support a hypothesis that some advanced systems are already deployed and opaque to full U.S. understandings, the report reads. The report was released to the Sun as part of a Freedom of Information Act request from 2017. It was written by the AAT TIP program, the existence of which was revealed by whistleblower and former head of the program, Luis Elizondo, which we've spoke on him and his things that he's released. We've got these videos from the Navy. We've seen these. Unclassified. Right here, you're looking at the document itself. Now, how come we've never seen any of this? The study is titled Anomalous Acute and Subacute Field Effects on Human and Biological Tissues, dated March 11, 2010. Classified information exists that is highly pertinent to the subject of this study, and only a small part of the classified literature has been released, the document states. Attached to the report is a list of physiological effects experienced by those who have come in contact with UFOs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. The list was compiled in 1996 by the MUFON and covered the time period from 1873 to 1994. Among the effects are 129 abductions, electromagnetic effects on vehicles, 77, perceived time loss, 75, burns, 41, electrical shocks, 23, force field impacts, 18, and 5 people got to fuck the aliens. Elizondo, who headed up the $22 million Pentagon program that you paid for, studying UFOs, told GQ magazine about some of the effects in an interview in November. This is the guy that ran the whole goddamn program. He says, I got to be careful. I can't speak too specifically, but one might imagine that you get a report from a pilot who says, Lou, it's really weird. I was flying and I got close to this thing and I came back home and it was like I got sunburned. I was red for 4 days. Well, that's a sign of radiation. That's not a sunburn. It's a radiation burn. Then the pilot might say, if they'd gotten a little closer, Lou, I'm at the hospital. I've got symptoms that are indicative of microwave damage, meaning internal injuries and even my brain. There's some morphology there. He then added, and then you might get someone who gets really close and says, you know, Lou, it's really bizarre. I felt like I was only there 5 minutes, but when I looked at my watch, 30 minutes went by. But I only used 5 minutes worth of fuel. How is that possible? That's the man right there. Luis Elizondo. If you look down here, we've seen these videos that were also released thanks to Luis Elizondo from the Navy. We've seen these before. We've looked at them before. We've analyzed them before. This is getting crazy. This is getting crazy.
Studies these things, joins us from Tucson, Arizona. Nick, have we ever gotten to the point where there is hard evidence that there is something visiting our planet from another planet?
Now, Nick Pope is the former Ministry of Defense in the UK. Think about how high of a ranking that is.
No, we're not quite there yet. But what we have seen over the last 3 or 4 years is this subject coming out of the fringe and into the mainstream. We've seen multiple videos, US Navy videos of jets chasing these things, tracked on radar. We've had some of the pilots and the intelligence people talking about them. And now we learn that this is an ongoing situation, and it's not just UFOs. Frankly, they've been looking at other things which sound like they come straight out of an X-Files script.
The Yetis, Bigfoot.
When you hear pilots describe what some of these things can do, the Tic Tacs and the like, confirmed UFO sighting, Southern California coast, 2004, 2019.
San Diego.
2019 by 3 or 4 different ships. Eastern seaboard near the United States, 2014, 2015. I have no idea what that map is, but we do have a graphic of where are they and what are they. Confirmed UFO sightings. There we go. Off the coast of Virginia, 2014, by the FA-18s and the like. What is the chance that these are nothing more than the next evolution of stealth fighters or the next evolution of things that are being tested at Area 51? And of course,
now these are sightings confirmed by the Pentagon.
The government's going to say we have no idea what they are because they don't want our enemies to know about it?
That's certainly possible. I mean, one theory is that this is next generation aerospace tech, secret prototype aircraft and drones. Some people,
the U.S. themselves says they have no clue what the fuck they are. Because listen, they're labeling them as unidentified. Yeah, they could be lying. They more than likely are lying. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourselves, man, do you believe or do you not believe? I choose to believe. And because of that, and the reason I believe is because of how many times they've got caught lying, how many actual witnesses of witnesses shit, experience shit, and they just continue to lie. And they've even spoke about it in the past. It is to prevent panic. For some reason, they believe they get to know the truth, but little old you'll panic. You'll lose your shit if you know the truth.
Say it might be U.S. tech secretly tested on one part of the military by another to see how we react. And of course, there's another theory that this is adversary technology from Russia or China, for example. But, you know, the extraterrestrial hypothesis is out there too. And all of this is why Congress is now taking very close note of this. The Senate Intelligence Committee in particular, but the Armed Services Committees in both the Senate and the House are looking at this. There were multiple UFO provisions in the latest defense bill. So people are taking this seriously.
You worked on this for the government of the United Kingdom. You were in the Ministry of Defense researching UFOs and if there was extraterrestrial life and the like. What do you think has changed now that it went from sort of the fringe people who wore tinfoil on their hats and stood outside Area 51?
They talk so stupid.
This.
Well, I think there has been a realization that this is a serious defense and national security issue. And I think part of that has come from within Congress. People like Marco Rubio, for example, have spoken out quite strongly on this. But the other thing is we've just got a lot more evidence than was previously the case. We always knew pilots saw these things, but it's the DOD themselves that have recently put some of this on their website. And what we've seen recently is the Defense Intelligence Agency also doing massive document dumps.
And the question is why did they wait till just now? Why now? We've been begging for this information for a long time, and they've had it. According to them, they've had it.
Releasing, literally thousands of pages on this, and there's more to come.
Short of a couple of little green men landing on the south lawn or the north lawn of the White House and saying hi to the press corps there, or landing at the next Super Bowl and dropping in, what is the bridge between these videos and we know that whatever this thing is, it is not human?
Well, I think part of the answer will be satellite technology. But of course, the problem with that is that all that information is going to be highly classified. The other thing is, of course, science. We've had the recent launch of the James Webb Space Telescope. And if there's something in our little corner of the galaxy that's not us, well, maybe that will be the instrument that finds it.
They won't tell us.
And right now, you would put the percentage chance that in the next year to 18 months, we have that link is what?
I don't know, but much stronger than it ever was. I mean, we're closer than we've ever been, I think. If they're out there, we're closing in on them. And it will be the biggest discovery in human history, for sure.
These people trip me the fuck out.
You said we're closing in on them. We just hope we're closing in on them faster than they're closing in.
Are you out of your fucking mind? This is how stupid these people are. If they're already here, then they already are closing in on us quicker than we're closing on them. God damn, people are stupid. They're just fucking stupid. Question is why are they still lying? Why have they been lying? What's the purpose of the lie? And I'm going to leave this up to you guys in the audience to tell me what you think. The reality of this whole situation is simple, right? They're sitting here now with egg on their face because they've been lying this whole time. And maybe they're either you. Here's the thing. The government doesn't do anything without it benefiting them. I think we all can agree if the government's starting to leak this shit, it's about benefiting them. It's about distracting us from this or that, but it doesn't mean it's still not important. I see a lot of you people in the audience continuously telling me, well, don't focus on that. Don't talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock because that's a distraction. You need to talk about the same things you talk about every day anyway. You see what I'm saying? They do. How many more immigration videos can I make? You see what I'm saying? How many more Tyrone videos can I make? How many more Joe Biden videos can I make? Don't act like I forget about all the important shit just because I cover other shit too. This is far more important than Joe Biden, America, or you. There is nothing more important than the possibility of space and time travel. If we're getting visited or invaded by things or beings from another galaxy or planet, how do you think I give a fuck about Joe Biden or trannies? The fuck does any of that have to do with anything on the grand scheme of things? But JB just keep talking about the blah, 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 blah. It's gay. It's wrong. It's stupid. Here's the truth about this. I think they exist. I think they exist. I think they've always been here. I think we are them. I believe in the ancient astronaut theory. I believe we are them. I believe that we are the missing link in the DNA that essentially switched us from Neanderthals to who we are today. It's the aliens that did that. Also, men make wheel. Now we're in space. Aliens did it. They they genetically modified us to get us to be their slave species here on Earth so we can mine the resources. So they can then come down and use them. What say you? Let's talk about it. Leave a comment in the chat.